Hello, my name is Emma, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you about something we use a lot in conversation. And that is the words so and neither. So how do we use these in conversation? Well, I want you to think about a conversation you've recently had with somebody. A lot of the times when we talk to people, we want to contribute something to the conversation, and we want to show that we agree with someone, okay? So for example, maybe I'm talking about pizza. I like pizza. If you want to tell me that you agree with me, you can use the word so do I. Okay, so you can use this expression. It starts with so. Then we have a verb, a helping verb, and then we have the person. In this case, it's I. Okay, so do I. Let me ask you another question. Well, not a question. Let me say something that I believe. I really like music. Do you like music too? If you do, when I say I like music, you can say so do I, because you agree with me. You like music too, okay? Now, so that's when we use so, and we'll have a lot more examples in a moment. Let's just talk a little bit about neither for a moment. We use neither when we're talking about something negative. So something that has the word not in it, or, for example, I do not like pizza. I don't like pizza. If I say something like this in a conversation, you can agree with me and you can say, neither do I. I don't like pizza. You say, neither do I, if you agree with me. So let's do some examples together. I speak English. If you wanted to add to the conversation and show you agree, and you have the same experience, you can say, so, and then we can add do, then you can say I. Okay, let me think about something else. I don't speak Klingon. This is a language from Star Trek. I don't speak Klingon. If you wanted to add to this conversation, you can say, so we have here, it's a negative. It has the word not. Neither do I. So we use so and neither when we want to show agreement with what somebody's saying in a conversation. So let's look at some more examples of that. So far we've talked about so do I and neither do I, okay, to show agreement with what somebody's saying. What about if we want to talk about somebody else? Well, we have so here, but we can actually change the pronoun we use when we're talking about someone else. So if you're talking to somebody, you can say, so do you. Or maybe, I say, I love traveling. And maybe you have a sister who loves traveling. You can say about your sister, so does she. Okay, we can also do, if there's you and somebody else, you can use the pronoun we. Or if you're talking about a group of other people, you can use the pronoun they. So before I had I, but you can actually use any of these. Or you can use somebody's name. For example, Drake. Okay, so I live in Toronto. So does Drake. We both live in Toronto. I never see Drake, but we both live in Toronto, so I can say, I live in Toronto, and so does Drake. Now, did you notice I did something different with the verb? Okay? The verb has to be in agreement with the pronoun. So when we use you, this goes into do. I do, you do. For he and she, the verb, in this case we call this a helping verb. The helping verb goes into does. She does, he does. So we invert it. So does he. So does she. So do we. So do they. Drake is he, so we would put so does Drake. The point is it needs to match. The pronoun and the verb need to match. Okay? What about neither? Well, it's the same. Okay? I don't live in Australia. Neither does Drake. Neither do you. Neither does he. Neither does she. Neither do we. Neither do they. Okay? So it's important that the verb matches the pronoun. But notice that so and neither are at the very beginning of the sentence. So they always have the same place. Okay, so let's look at some other examples of ways we can use so and neither in conversation. Okay, so we talked about that for the majority of verbs you hear, when somebody's saying in conversation, I like, I don't like, I hate, I love, I play sports. If you agree, you usually use the word do. So do I, neither do I. Okay? But there are times where we don't use the word do, and we'll use a different helping verb or auxiliary. Okay? So I'm going to give some examples of when we would use a different helping verb. If I tell you, I can play the piano, can is considered a helping verb because it helps the word play. Okay, or we can call it an auxiliary. They mean the same thing. But notice there's two verbs, I can play. So can is helping the word play. So if I want to show agreement, I also play the piano, then I need to use the same helping verb. I can play the piano, so can I. So you don't need to use the verb play, okay? You just need to use the helping verb. Usually we use do, but if you see a helping verb, if somebody uses a helping verb, you use the same helping verb. So that might sound confusing, but if you look at some examples, it will become clearer in a moment. Let's think about something else you can do. I can snap my fingers. If you can snap your fingers, what can you say to the conversation? You can add, so can I. Okay. I can play basketball. What can you say if you want to add to the conversation? You can say, so can I. So we use can a lot with so. We can also use it with neither. For example, I can't whistle. You know, whistling like, I'm terrible at whistling. I can't whistle. So what you can say is, if you can't, you can agree with me and you can say, neither can I. I can't scuba dive. If you can't scuba dive, you can say, neither can I. So those are when we use the word can. What are some other helping verbs you might see? Well, if we're using the present perfect, you might see have traveled. So traveled is the verb, but we have the helping verb, which is have. I have eaten a sandwich. I have watched many movies. So this is the present perfect. I have traveled to France. If you have also traveled to France and you want to say this, you can say, so have I. So the verb here is the same as the helping verb here. I have eaten spaghetti, so have I. And it goes with the negative too. I have never been to Antarctica. You can say, neither have I. Okay? If we're talking about the past tense, we also need to change the verb. So before we talked a lot about do, if we're talking about the past, we need to change the verb to did. So for example, yesterday, I washed my hair. If you did the same thing, you can say, so did I. Okay. I ate a sandwich yesterday. If you ate a sandwich, you can say, so did I. You also do the same thing when we have the verb is or are and isn't. So for example, in this case, John isn't happy. Maybe I want to talk about my friend Mark, who also isn't happy. I can say, neither is Mark. Sammy is happy. So is Peter. So the main thing here is you want to match this or the auxiliary in your response. It always has to match. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. We've covered so do I, and neither, or neither do I. What I would invite you and recommend that you do is come check out our website at www.engvid.com, and there you can actually take a quiz to practice a lot of the grammar concepts you've learned today. You can also check out my YouTube channel, where you'll find a lot more resources on pronunciation, grammar, writing, vocabulary, and all sorts of other things. So thank you for watching. I really enjoyed this experience, and I hope you can say, so did I. So until next time, take care.